Okay, picture this. It's Dallas, September 2000. Inside some high-rise office, a meeting is happening that is about to go down as one of the most expensive jokes in business history. Seriously, a mistake worth $5 billion is about to be made. So on one side of the table, you've got the Goliath, Blockbuster, right? The undisputed king of Friday nights. And on the other, this scrappy, cash-bleeding startup called Netflix. I mean, this was not a meeting of equals. It was David and Goliath for sure. But this time, the giant had absolutely no idea what was about to hit them.
I mean, the imbalance of power here was just staggering. You had Blockbuster, this $5 billion empire that basically owned the market. And Netflix, well, they were the scrappy nerds literally losing money hand over fist. Yeah, they had a clever idea, but Blockbuster had the entire world.
So, Netflix makes their pitch. They offer to sell the whole shebang, their vision, their platform, everything, to Blockbuster. And the asking price? $50 million. Now, you gotta remember, for a company worth billions, $50 million is basically couch cushion money.
And Blockbuster's response? Oh, they laughed. They didn't just say no. They reportedly laughed the Netflix guys right out of the room. They just dismissed the whole thing as some nerdy experiment, a sideshow. And that single moment of arrogance, it would ultimately cost them everything.
And here's the punchline, right? Fast forward to today. Blockbuster is basically a ghost, a cautionary tale with like a single store left in the world. And Netflix, it's a global entertainment titan worth over $200 billion. So the question is, how on earth did this incredible reversal happen?
Okay, so to really understand the fall, you first have to appreciate just how high they were. Back in the 90s, Blockbuster was an absolute monster, the Terminator of retail. A Friday night movie meant a trip to that iconic blue and yellow store. It was a cultural ritual, you know? I mean, they had an absolute monopoly on at-home movies. If you wanted the latest release, that was it. You went to their store, stood in their lines, and you played by their rules. They weren't just a store. They were like a gravitational force. And here's the secret to their real power. Check this number out. $800 million. That's how much Blockbuster was raking in every single year from just one source of revenue. And no, it was not from selling popcorn. It all came from late fees. You know, those dreaded late fees. Their whole business model was basically a financial mullet. I love that. It was family fun up front and these punitive, predatory fees in the back. They weren't just renting movies. They were literally profiting from us being forgetful. But this whole empire had a hidden, fatal flaw. The entire operation, we're talking thousands of stores, massive rent payments, countless employees, it was all this clunky, ancient infrastructure. It was like a giant Jenga tower built on physical plastic. And just one wrong move, and the whole thing could come crashing down. And then, of course, came the challenger. A guy named Reed Hastings shows up with this totally radical idea. See, he didn't want to build a better store. He wanted to get rid of the store completely. He was building a platform. So the story goes, it all started with a $40 late fee that Hastings himself got for the movie Apollo 13. And in that one moment of pure frustration, he saw the massive weakness in Blockbuster's armor. He decided, you know what? It's time to flip the script on this entire industry. And this is where you really see the fundamental difference, right? Blockbuster was obsessed with short-term profit, those late fees, and owning physical stores. Netflix, on the other hand, was laser-focused on relentless execution and building a digital platform. They were playing two completely different games. You can just imagine the conversation back in that Dallas boardroom, can't you? The Blockbuster execs, these kings of a physical empire, are looking at this proposal with just total disbelief. Wait, you want to mail DVDs through the post office like it's 1850? It must have sounded ancient, inefficient, just completely ridiculous to them. But Netflix understood something fundamental that Blockbuster completely missed. It wasn't about the physical disc. It was about access and time. Their value proposition was devastatingly simple. No late fees, ever. Keep the movie for a day, a week, a month, who cares? Suddenly, the power was back in the customer's hand. So while Blockbuster was focused on penalizing its customers, Netflix found the real secret sauce, the subscription. It's that flat monthly fee for what feels like unlimited entertainment. It wasn't just a new payment model, you guys. It was a completely new relationship with the customer. Okay, so by the mid-2000s, the world is changing fast. High-speed internet isn't a novelty anymore. It's becoming the backbone of modern life. And for Blockbuster's plastic Jenga tower, well, this was the digital meteor hurtling right for them. And man, the collapse accelerated quickly. Blockbuster finally launched an online service in 2004, but it was a classic case of too little, too late. Then the 2008 financial crisis hits, and all of a sudden, a $20 late fee isn't just an annoyance. For families trying to cut costs, it was financial suicide. By 2010, the game was over.
When they finally filed for bankruptcy, Blockbuster was staring down $1 billion in debt. A billion with a B. The empire that was built on late fees was eaten alive simply because it refused to adapt.
You know, while Netflix was building this sleek speedboat powered by algorithms, Blockbuster was desperately trying to patch holes in its sinking ocean liner with $100 bills. They were trying to solve a 21st century problem with a 20th century mindset, and it was never going to work. So what's the lesson in all this? I mean, it's a story we see again and again in business, but rarely is it this dramatic. It's a real rude awakening about the hidden danger of being on top.
Think of Blockbuster as this giant dinosaur sitting on a massive pile of gold. It saw these tiny little mammals, like Netflix, scurrying around at its feet, and it just laughed. It was too big, too powerful, and too arrogant to notice that digital meteor burning through the atmosphere, heading straight for it.
And this brings us to the core lesson, a really powerful business idea. Your margin is my opportunity. See, Blockbuster's whole profit model was built on that $800 million cushion from late fees. Netflix looked at that, and they didn't see a strength. They saw a massive vulnerability, a huge opportunity to build a better model and just steal the entire market. And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Because this isn't just a history lesson, right? It's a warning for the future. So, who are the giants of today, sitting on their piles of gold, laughing at the little guy, completely unaware of the meteor that's heading their way? What's the next empire to fall?